right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tricky travel. A weather impact alert for Wednesday as a wintry mix spreads into the St. Louis area during the morning. When and where the biggest problems are expected.
Preparing for the storm.
We will be out tonight ahead of the storm.
The game plan to keep you safe on the roads and keep St. Louisans warm. Tonight, teens falling victim to gun violence.
Telling my daughter that her brother wasn't coming home was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
The recent rash of tragedies driving a push to put down the guns and stop the bloodshed.
Fear, man, is a huge driving factor.
We start tonight at 10 with a weather impact alert. In just 5 hours, a winter weather advisory goes into effect across the bi-state as another wave of snow, sleet, and freezing rain moves in. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. The first round of wintry weather didn't have much of an impact in the metro area. Round 2, though, could be a different story. Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking the latest timing and the track of this storm. Scott.
And things are still on track for us to have travel troubles tomorrow across the bi-state area. West of St. Louis and southwest of St. Louis, say Rolla to Herman, we're talking about 6 o'clock when that leading edge starts working in. It'll be into St. Louis between 8 and 10, and then everything's moving east of our area by 9 o'clock. It will be a mix for most of us. North and west, you end up with a bit more snow and less of a mix, and south and east, there's a bit more rain, but there will be impacts to driving area-wide. Let's take it region by region. Far to the north, it's going to be mostly snow. This is at 11 o'clock here tomorrow morning, and there may be some pockets where the snow is a little heavier. You get reduced visibility. Temperatures here are below freezing, so it'll stick and become slick fairly quickly. As we work our way farther east and southeast, we are looking at more of a mix, and there even could be some rain in here at times too. It will get colder, though, at night, so the potential for refreeze. Throughout the metro area, a burst of snow and sleet expected here with temperatures right around freezing as we head towards 11 o'clock noon. Then we nudge up a little bit, and temperatures then will start to fall later in the day. You will have travel troubles around St. Louis and potentially even down towards Farmington, St. Genevieve, and Potosi, because here there will be some freezing rain early in the morning. In most cases, you'll change over to rain later in the day. So how much are we going to end up with? Oh, that's the big question everybody's asking. Some of us will actually end up tomorrow night with next to nothing on the ground, south and east of St. Louis. Metro area, probably a trace to an inch east and southeast of town. And then we go to the north and west side of town, and we're talking potentially a couple of inches, maybe 3 to 5. Troy up to Bowling Green. That's where the biggest impacts will be, north and west of St. Louis, where it's mostly sleet or sleet and snow. We'll keep tracking it. More on this in just a few minutes, Mike.
And the threat of wintry weather is having an impact on St. Louis attractions and businesses. The Gateway Arch, along with the Zoo and Science Center, will be closed tomorrow. Nearly 200 schools have also made the call tonight to either cancel classes or switch to remote learning. The up-to-the-minute list is running at the bottom of your screen, and you can text the word closings to 314-425-5355, and we'll send that list straight to your phone. Tonight, transportation crews are already hard at work to ensure smooth travels on highways and even city streets. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon is live in the Weather Impact Storm Tractor downtown with more on those efforts and the message tonight from the mayor. Brent?
We are ready. That's the message from the mayor tonight ahead of this winter storm. Of course, so many of us remember the last snowstorm when a whole lot of city streets were left blanketed in snow for weeks. Well, tonight, a message of reassurance.
We've got another round of winter weather coming up.
On social media Tuesday, St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones offering peace of mind with this video showing city crews already at work pre-treating roads. More snow is expected Wednesday.
I have about 50 drivers out plowing and salting as needed in 12-hour shifts. We also have a contractor standing ready to assist if it becomes necessary.
IDOT is choosing certain roads to pre-treat because they're expecting more rain in their part of our region. MoDOT, on the other hand, isn't projecting rain, so crews are laying a brine mixture ahead of salt that will be applied once that projected 1 to 4 inches of a wintry mix begins to accumulate.
We focus on those main lines first, of course. and there was a significantly more amount of snow last time, which didn't allow us to get off there. They were focusing on the interstates, and those ramps didn't get the attention they normally do. This will be easier to manage this time, and with those temperatures being up and getting those treatments down ahead of time, we'll be able to manage that better this storm.
Meantime,
We're trying to make sure nobody dies.
Andrew Cole with Urban City Services is preparing to roll out this warming bus. The group just unveiled it in December. It will be parked at 14th and Chestnut in the city for those who need some warmth. On top of that, local shelters will offer shuttles for those who want to get from the bus to a bed.
We've gotten over 1,000 people into shelter through this bus.
All hands on deck to get us through the storm.
We're keeping a close eye on the weather and will adapt our response as needed.
All right, back live now. A reminder, this wave of winter weather is not expected to be as bad as the 6 to 9 inches of snow we saw last month. And also, city leaders don't expect trash collection to be impacted this time around. And if for some reason you find yourself stuck while on the road, remember dialing star 55 from your phone will get you in touch with Highway Patrol. Mike.
All right, Brent, thanks. And you can get the latest weather impact forecast anytime on KSDK.com and the 5 on Your Side mobile app. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link. And our team of weather impact meteorologists are also providing continuous updates on the 5+ streaming app. It's free to download on your Apple, Roku, and Fire TV. Within the last 2 hours, we've learned the name of the teenage girl shot and killed in North St. Louis County. Police say 15-year-old Cole Maury McGee was shot at a home on John James Drive off 270 in Lilac yesterday afternoon. A 14-year-old boy was taken into juvenile custody. Investigators do not believe that the shooting was intentional. Just hours later, a 13-year-old boy was shot inside his North City home. His dad said his son was in his room when bullets came flying into their apartment on Goodfellow Place. He is still in the hospital tonight in critical condition. And tonight, a Belleville family is grief-stricken after a 17-year-old was shot and killed in East St. Louis over the weekend. Parker Bunyak was shot Saturday night on North 59th, just south of State Street.
I wish I could hug him goodnight one more time.
He knows we love him so.
I would tell every parent out there to give your kids an extra hug and kiss tonight.
Police have not released any other details. This is the second Belleville teen in the past week who died from gun violence. Derico Washington was shot and killed outside his home on February 3rd. And this morning, a gun was found inside a student's locker at Grand Center Arts Academy in St. Louis. New at 10, 5 on Your Side's Laura Barcheski looks into what's being done about the recent rash of teen gun violence.
Mike, St. Louis police say at this point in the investigation, there's no indication the student was planning to use the gun at school, but the issues lie outside school hallways, raising more alarms for community advocates.
St. Louis police say around 9:40 Tuesday morning, students approached an officer about concerns that a firearm was in an unused, unsecured locker at Grand Center Arts Academy.
Officers there working secondary started going through the locker and found this.
A loaded firearm alongside a book bag which belonged to an 18-year-old student who they found and arrested.
And what has been expressed to us by the student, the 18-year-old, is that he was having issues with people in the community, and he was carrying the firearm.
It's the second time in 2 years a gun has been found at the school. This is one of several incidents involving teens and guns within the past week in the metro area. After instances of gun violence involving teens, many people ask, why would a teen feel the need to have a gun? The leader of Show Me Peace, a violence interruption program, says one reason is access.
Gun laws, like just more accessibility to guns, definitely plays a huge role.
That's Jason Watson. He says another major reason is fear.
It's hard to see a 16-year-old with an assault rifle and assume there's fear in his heart. But in a lot of cases, I think that's what it is.
It's an issue police and Watson say is not unique to St. Louis.
When I see a child carrying a firearm, it makes me ask the question, what led him or her to that space?
Making organizations like this extremely important. In April, Show Me Peace hopes to launch a program to get teens involved.
So trying to work with youth that are in our specific areas, hiring a few of them so that they could actually earn some money on their own, but then be able to teach them some of these skills that we've learned, be able to work with them, and then use them as leaders to go and then call their friends to come be a part of this as well.
If you have any information about any of these incidents, you can remain anonymous and possibly receive a reward by calling Crime Stoppers at 866-371-8477.
More fireworks at tonight's St. Louis County Council meeting, just minutes after the Missouri Court of Appeals put Prop B back on the April ballot. This morning, a circuit court judge ordered the removal of the April ballot initiative that would have given the council power to remove county department heads. The judge called the ballot language misleading, insufficient, inaccurate, argumentative, prejudicial, and unfair. County Executive Sam Page is fighting the council on the matter.
The appellate court agreed with that the language was confusing, but the time to challenge this is after the election. As it stands, voters will have to vote on this absurd ballot language.
I could not allow this council chamber to be used to badmouth the ballot initiative, as you have said, prop bad. I think that's already you persuading the voters on how you feel about that proposition.
Page says his office is exploring its next steps in challenging Prop B. Just hours ago, the Sangamon County Board in Central Illinois unanimously approved a $10 million settlement with the family of Sonia Massey. She's the black woman shot and killed by a sheriff's deputy inside her home last July. Sean Grayson is now in jail facing first-degree murder charges. He has pleaded not guilty. The settlement is believed to be one of the largest in the county's history. Tonight, Bridgeton police are asking for your help in identifying these 4 people wanted for a brazen burglary. They got away with more than $10,000 worth of sneakers and streetwear from Uncommon Luxury STL. What makes the crime so brazen? The boutique store on Natural Bridge Road is located right across the street from the Bridgeton Police Department. Police say the thieves broke in through a back door during the early morning hours of January 27th. If you have any information on this case, Bridgeton Police want to hear from you. That number is 314-739-7557. A delay tonight in repairs to a major water main break in North St. Louis County that has more than 20,000 people under a boil order. Right now, Missouri American water crews are working to repair a 30-inch water main break at Dunn and Taylor in Hazelwood. They were supposed to be done by 8 p.m. No new timeline was given. The boil order remains in effect until Thursday morning for parts of Hazelwood, Ferguson, Florissant, Normandy, Kinloch, and Berkeley. Students in the Ferguson-Florissant School District will have another remote learning day tomorrow. Unless the weather turns severe, then they'll have a traditional snow day.
An alert tonight giving pet owners pause.
It's scary because you hope that you're doing the right thing for your dog.
A sudden company closure leads to a microchip confusion, how you can protect your pet. Money can't buy you love. Tonight, the dating deal breakers when it comes to debt.
Impacts to travel tomorrow. That's why we remain in a weather impact alert tonight. The updated track and timing as this system comes together, bringing us a wintry mix. We'll see you at 6 minutes.
Tonight, a school teacher from Pennsylvania held prisoner by Russia for 3.5 years is back on American soil. Within the last 45 minutes, President Trump greeted Mark Fogel at the White House. The 63-year-old was sentenced to 14 years in a Russian prison for having a small amount of cannabis prescribed for medical reasons. The White House believes Fogel's release could advance efforts to reach a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Tonight, a legal battle is brewing between a coffee giant and the Missouri Attorney General. Andrew Bailey has filed a lawsuit against Starbucks, claiming the company's DEI practices on hiring violates federal and state laws prohibiting discrimination. In a news release, Bailey says, quote, "Racism has no place in Missouri. We're filing suit to halt this blatant violation of the Missouri Human Rights Act in its tracks." In a statement, Starbucks calls the AG's allegations inaccurate, saying, quote, "We are deeply committed to creating opportunity for every single one of our partners. Our programs and benefits are open to everyone and lawful." An alert tonight for pet owners. They're being urged to check the registration of their animal's microchip. This after the closure of the microchip company saved this life. Animal advocates say your information may no longer be registered on national databases.
The important thing to do is to get that number, to have somebody scan it. And again, it's your vet or it's a shelter that can do that scan for you if you don't already have the number, and then to log in and make sure to update the information.
You can re-register that number with another company. According to the Animal Hospital Association, there are more than 40 other microchipping and recovery services available. Well, Valentine's Day is Friday, and when it comes to dating, many people have deal breakers. For some, it's credit card debt. Allison Gormley shows us how money can affect your relationship goals.
Dating is difficult. Throw in some credit card debt, and 10% of Americans will say no thanks to your company. On the flip side,
90% of Americans don't consider credit card debt to be a deal breaker, which is great news if you're single and you have credit card debt.
NerdWallet found that for most Americans in the survey, the concerns are the amount of debt and your plans, or lack thereof, to pay the debt off.
Of the people that don't think it's a deal breaker, the average amount that would be a deal breaker is around $20,000.
But how do you find out that information about your new friend? Rathner suggests talking about money early and often.
If money talks go well with somebody that you're just beginning to date, even if you have debt, that's a good sign. That's a sign that both of you are coming into this relationship ready to be good partners to each other. But if those talks aren't going so well, it could be a sign of greater incompatibility.
That way, future talks about vacation costs, a house, and retirement are smooth sailing.
That was Allison Gormley reporting. The survey found people ages 18 to 43 are more wary of dating someone with credit card debt than those ages 44 to 78. Check this out. A thief's not-so-sweet getaway ends with a sticky situation in Indianapolis. Those are Krispy Kreme donuts scattered all over the road. Police say a delivery driver was inside a gas station when a woman jumped behind the wheel and took off. A few minutes later, the rear doors swung open, scattering boxes of donuts all over the street. Police used the truck's GPS to track it down, and the woman was arrested. All right, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoined us now with the latest on the weather impact alert and the timing of it all.
Yeah, and like a Krispy Kreme donut, some of us will see a glaze tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it's going to be as big of a problem for most areas as we always think about freezing rain could be. I mean, we're talking limited impacts from the freezing rain. Snow and sleet, that's going to be probably the biggest impact around the metro area as we get a mix of both. Right now, roads are dry around the area. We're tracking our impacts for tomorrow. It's all about travel. Starting at 6 a.m. west of St. Louis and lasting until about 9 o'clock tomorrow night, sloppy and slick travel. In the best case scenario, southeast of St. Louis, you deal with just wet roads. The worst case scenario, which is going to be north and west of St. Louis, there will be snow-packed roads. And in the metro area, we're somewhere in between with at times slushy and snow-packed roads, and at other times it may be more wet to slightly slushy, but still travel impacts. Plowable snow is more likely farther north and west. So here's the latest on the advisories. National Weather Service did nudge those over to include Salem and Nashville, Illinois, Sparta, down through Cape Girardeau, or down, I should say, to St. Genevieve and Farmington because of the impacts potentially of some freezing rain early tomorrow morning. The winter storm warning stays up to our north. That's where the greatest amount of snow and sleet will be, here to our north. Right now, there's some drizzle in southwest Missouri, freezing drizzle, trying to push northeast. We'll watch that around Rolla about daybreak. This whole storm system pulling out here, and this area over the plains is going to continue to expand in coverage of snow. And look how cold it is. Des Moines over to Omaha in the single digits right now. Our wind, though, is out of the northeast instead of out of the northwest, which keeps our temperatures close to freezing for much of the overnight hours. Here is your Futurecast timeline, bringing it into Troy between 7 and 9, bringing it into Chesterfield around 9 to 10, Crystal City close to 8 to 9, and then south of St. Louis, that freezing rain, freezing drizzle, you'll get a light glaze there. Going north and west of St. Louis, mostly snow and sleet. We're thinking a burst here during the mid-morning hours to about lunchtime, and then we go over to that wintry mix as the intensity of the precipitation lets up during the afternoon. And this system's going to pull away tomorrow evening, and when it does, north and west of St. Louis, there'll be some decent snow and sleet on the ground, mostly snow. Metro area, it's going to vary across the region. South and east of St. Louis, your amounts drop off considerably. North and west is where we pick it up. For most of us in the metro area, a trace to about 2 inches seems reasonable, especially north and west. But from downtown St. Louis, south and east, you're be lucky if you see even an inch. And farther to the south, you're looking at some light icing. Pick out your city. There you go. Bowling Green, Whitehall, and Eolia, Top ones, 3 to 5 inches. Everybody else is less than that. Tonight, we're dropping back into the 20s to lower 30s. Cloudy skies. We'll watch that area from Rolla to Centerville to Viburnum to see if we get a little bit of freezing drizzle late tonight. Your hour-by-hour forecast tomorrow does take us just above freezing, which should help the road crews tackle this storm adequately tomorrow. 34 for the high. It is cold on Thursday. We're only in the 20s, teens for lows on Thursday morning and again on Friday morning. So that means whatever thaws, if it's not treated, will refreeze, and we could be dealing with slick spots again Thursday and Friday morning. Over the weekend, we're warm enough to get mainly rain.
Right, so precipitation on Saturday, but it'll be in the 40s, so rain.
Yes, it looks like all rain.
Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we have the Billikens in a heart-stopping game. We have the Illini looking really good, and we have a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter telling the real story about the Torrey Holt snub. The Billikens hosted the best team in the Atlantic 10 tonight. George Mason came to Shavitz smoking hot with a 9-game winning streak. All I can say is it was a whole lot of excitement for a Tuesday night of basketball. Now, do you get a bowl of soup when you buy a hat like that? Let it be known when Robbie Avila breaks out of a slump, he breaks out of a slump. 5 3-pointers tonight. He was making them while he was being fouled. Avila with 27 points, 30 seconds to go, slew down 6. Gibson Jimerson with a 3. Now, dying moments regulation, slew down 3. And Isaiah Swope will not be denied. He drains the bomb. We're going to overtime. In OT again, it's Swope. He'll cut the lead to 2 on this left-handed layup. But another team called the Patriots caused more pain to a team from St. Louis. George Mason ran out the clock and wins the game 76-74.
We just didn't close it at the end there. It's on our end. We have to execute better offensively. We buckled down, got a couple stops early, couldn't punish them in the beginning of the overtime, and then they started getting going in the end. They hit a couple shots, but it shouldn't have gotten to that point. I think we got to be able to win games in those first 40.
I don't care if Illinois has had some disappointing losses. Bottom line, they have 2 likely lottery picks, length, and a lot of lethal athleticism. UCLA found that out tonight. UCLA, welcome to the State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois. Here's one of those lottery picks, Kasparis Yakachunas, slithering to the rim. Then later, KJ is going to feed the other lottery pick, Will Riley. Illinois rolling up 26-13. Yakachunas has got some Luka in him. He had 24. Illinois wins 83-78. Take a look at Jordan Spicer of Lutheran St. Charles. Tonight, she officially became a McDonald's All-American. 2,100 points in her career. Her teammate Chloe Reed also received recognition. Her squad laid it on Coriezu. She had 24. Lutheran St. Charles won it 65-34. It was a battle of the Jesuits. SLU hosting DeSmet. John Hawkins for the Junior Bills with the jump hook and rush hour traffic. But DeSmet is really good. Jordan Boyd, Will Harper. Pass of the night, high school, college, or pro. Watch closely. Ian Thomas to Riley Massey. DeSmet is 21-2 after a 70-36 victory. 6 days after hearing Torrey Holt didn't make this year's Hall of Fame class doesn't lessen our disappointment. 11 years on the ballot and 6 times as a finalist, the man known as Big Game came up short again. It came as a surprise to voter Howard Balzer, who's been a selector for 21 years now. The fact that only 3 modern-day players were selected worked against Torrey, and so did a change in the voting procedure. He made the cut to 7, and in the past, voters were simply polled yes or no for each of that 7. Not so this year.
Once it got to the 7 instead of 5, then all of the voters picked 5 on their ballot. And so that meant you had to be mentioned on 40 ballots to be able to be elected. The 3-person modern-day class was just something that hadn't happened, Frank, in 2 decades. I think, like I said, if we had voted to 5, I think there would have been a pretty strong chance of Torrey being in that 5.
And next year, Larry Fitzgerald with better stats is on the ballot. I'm really concerned that it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, that's too bad
Yeah.
because he definitely deserves it.
He does.
We'll be right back. The Cardinals have landed in Jupiter for spring training, and to celebrate the return of baseball, the team is holding a flash sale tomorrow. Tickets for any Monday through Thursday home game, just $10, opening day excluded. Each ticket comes with $10 of preloaded cards cash to use for concessions and merchandise. The sale runs tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. on the Cardinals website. Scott has one last update on the weather impact alert.
You know, we're good for most of the morning commute, I think, in St. Louis. But as we get towards the end of the morning commute, 8, 9 o'clock, you're really going to pick up that chance for snow and sleet. And as you go south and east of St. Louis, some freezing rain, slick spots. Watch the elevated surfaces. But all of us will have to deal with that tomorrow morning. We're right around freezing. The specific timeline, hour by hour in St. Louis, you know, right, 31, 32 degrees, 8, 9, 10. Probably a burst between 10 and noon, and then it eases in the evening.
There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. It's free to download.